Oh dear, that's awesome. All right. Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hi. So my name is Christen.
My name is Martina.
And we have come together in a, not unconventional, but in a roundabout way, I guess.
A little bit roundabout, yeah.
To bring together our knowledge, our expertise, and do what we love to do, and that's share information.
Share knowledge, share ideas, and just discuss life.
Absolutely. So we wanted to give a background on us individually, what we do, why we do it, and our name, the name that we came up for the podcast.
Yeah.
And give a bit of background
you want to
to
start
that.
with the name?
I reckon yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Flow Interrupted.
Flow Interrupted. And how did we come up with that?
Good question. Obviously, yeah, you kind of, think about what we're doing, health, wellness, fitness, health. So it's easy to get lost with certain names out there if you're keeping it in that realm. We both did martial arts, so flow in that regard is a big one. Like you always kind of try and flow, receive energy, give energy. So that kind of seemed fitting. And Interrupted, we're both in our 40s now, so we're now facing certain hurdles.
Maybe. What?
It's all coming. But I think what we've both been dealing with in our lifetime of working with people is that you can have the best plan, the best freaking workout, all sorted, all planned, scheduled, and then it gets interrupted. And you have to start again, and therefore, Flow Interrupted seemed fitting.
Absolutely. And I think working with the clients that I have and the different experiences that they have, we all think life is just going to flow. We just think, this is the plan, this is what's going to happen.
No, we can make this happen. We can make it work.
We can manifest this. And then life has a way of saying,
no,
that's
not today.
That's not what we're going to do. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like, when you said it, you threw out a bunch of different ideas. And that was the one that I was like, that's what we want. Because I feel like so many of us in life, as we age and we progress, we get to that stage where we're like, this is not the plan.
Yeah.
This is not what I thought it was going to be. And when even if you're a top athlete, your body is going to change and things are going to change. And so how do we flow through and reevaluate that flow as we get a little bit older?
Yeah.
So a little bit of background, I guess, on us individually and our expertise. Some of us have longer lists.
There's a lot of fluff in there too.
The fluff makes it interesting, and it flows together. It all comes together at the end. But my background is I started out as a dental assistant, and I know it's Flow Interrupted. Like I was going to be a dental assistant. I was going to be in the dental field. And then life took a different turn. And one of my good friends introduced me to a product, which introduced me to a group of people who lived their life very different to me and in a good way. And they were vibrant. They were healthy. They weren't getting sick. And I was like, I want to be part of these people. This is great, because I was in that tired and sick all the time frame. So I kind of gravitated towards my friend in that realm, and from there decided that I want to do personal training. And then once I kind of got into some of the study, I realized, no, I want to talk to people about nutrition. I want to talk about nutrition because that's where I feel like I was let down the most and I didn't fully understand. And then I just, kind of sprouted from there. So I went to university after, kind of mixed up all the timeline, but I got my PT cert while I was at uni studying nutrition. And then after uni, I decided I wanted to do sports nutrition and help athletes on that realm. So I have quite a bit of like noise, if you will, but it all comes together in the end. So I still talk to clients about dental health of all things, because it impacts their health as in their training and things like that as well. Obviously, if you have poor teeth, then you're not going to eat as well. So I do throw that in every now and then. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Well, probably, I'm sure I'll throw things in and be like, oh yeah, by the way, I also do this and this. But yes, so that's my, I guess, professional credentials. As far as who I am is, a little bit different, if you will. But yeah. Talk about your credentials.
My credentials are, if I'm sticking with the actual credentials, it's a Bachelor in Health Science, Allied Health, naturopath background. But I suppose the interesting fact about me is maybe that I'm doing all of this and I love doing this and I'm somewhat passionate about it, but it's actually was never the plan. Which brings us back to the title. Like I always wanted to work with animals, so that was kind of my want till then the want to immigrate to Australia became bigger. And kind of changed my path a little bit. But even then, so coming here studying naturopathy then got kind of messed up through immigration as well. So I got to a point where I've had my bachelor and everything, still couldn't immigrate. Then I took my work rights away, whatever. Ended up doing my PT, because while I was already then working as a naturopath, sitting in an office all day long, telling people they need to exercise or move, but not being able, because I'm not qualified to actually tell them what to do. So I kind of figured, well, I might as well go and add that on. So at least I can send them home with a full plan, full package.
The plan,
and then after a while, kind of figured out that I don't want to sit in an office all day. And went more into the exercise world and started with PT and then kind of a bit more group stuff later down the track, which was fun. I actually really enjoyed that. Not your Les Mills group stuff, but just small group training. And massage was always part of it as well. And I got introduced to the myofascial system back in, 2013, I want to say. So a fair time now. 13 years I've been educating myself in that area, working with anatomy trains and kind of the, I suppose, biggest, or not biggest, but the people in Australia that had been working with anatomy trains, like the earliest on. Ian Otwire from the East Coast and John Polly here in WA. So I've had some good mentors in that area as well. And I don't know, I've just kind of fallen from one thing to the next, and I tend to get quite bored quite easily. So I like to keep things mixed up and just change things. So so kind of went from naturopathy into personal training, into group sessions, into massage. But so even with my exercise stuff, the movement has always been a bigger part of it all. So I've never been one for aesthetics. It's always been more about just good movement and healthy movement and pain-free movement in particular.
Which is something I think we need more of, because in the social media realm that we live in, it's all looks. Look. I want to look like this. Most of my clients, not most, quite a few of my clients will come to me. And when we're females, so we're unhappy with our body in some way, shape, or form. That's why we go to the gym. But oftentimes they'll come to me and they'll be like, I want a bigger butt, or I want a smaller waist, or a very specific look that they're going for. And well, it's not completely unattainable and out there. That's the main focus though. And they don't come initially saying, I want longevity or want more mobility. It's very rarely that's what it is, unfortunately. So, if we can kind of shift some of that pattern or some of that thinking, then I think then we're winning.
Like for myself, I guess I've always been more drawn to that because my previous history to all of that. So I was not an athletic child, but I was always active.
Yep.
And at the age of 13, 14, I had backaches to the point where I couldn't sit upright for longer than 5 minutes, and my left knee had blown out. But back then, the only imaging I was getting done was X-rays, so that obviously didn't show much.
Yep.
Sure, that like I know for a fact by now there was either tendon or something was freaking torn.
Yep. At least you know now.
But yeah, so back in the day, kind of that obviously not crippled me, but definitely put me on my backside for quite a while. And
Absolutely.
you know, and then managed like got onto it and rehabbed myself back into functionality.
Yep.
So I've always had a big thing for helping people to, because I've kind of been to where we get as we get older, where all of a sudden this hurts and that hurts and we don't know why, because I didn't know why my back was hurting. I didn't know why my knee was hurting.
Yeah.
So there was all this kind of, and it's really frustrating when you actually don't know what the heck is wrong with you.
100%. Like, I just know that it hurts.
So yeah, and so often often knowing doesn't necessarily change the treatment.
No.
But I just find for a lot of people it's a mindset change somehow. When they can put a label on it, it makes them feel more comfortable or something. I don't
Oftentimes,
know.
yeah, I believe that as well. I think that we want to label everything. We want it to be in a pretty box. And if it's in a box, then I can fix it, or I can do something with it, and I can move forward. But I think as we age, it definitely does shift. And I think people kind of we all say it's so cliche. You know, when you get older, this is going to happen. No, that's never going to happen to me. And people would say stuff all the time. And it was like, as soon as I said I turned 40, then my body was like, oh, here we go. Here's the list of things it's going to break today. And I was like, we don't have like an opportunity to move into that. Like, we're okay, cool. We're just all going to fall apart all at once.
I literally fell on my face. Like literally. I was with a client about to demonstrate what I wanted her to do, which was something in a plank position, and I couldn't support my weight anymore on my right wrist because all of a sudden that just the whole side and I didn't feel, I wasn't in pain, so I wasn't aware, and I was just going on the floor and poof. Literally face planted.
Oh my gosh.
That was my introduction to perimenopause. Yay.
Just literally, here we go.
Yeah, good times.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that would definitely, and that puts confidence in the client as well.
Oh, hey, like, I mean, she was cool. Like, she was concerned. Like, what happened?
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
It just fell apart. It's fine. We're fine. It's all fine. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
No. But yeah, because that's what happens. Like the body, and we can label stuff. Like, we know it's like there's inflammation and there is possibly deterioration, not as early as 40 in most times, but you know, definitely down the track as well.
Time out for a second. Hold on. We're gonna have to piece this together. All right, flow interrupted.
And we're back.
Oh, yeah, see that? How were we positioned before? Where was the dog?
Come here.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, I've lost track now.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I just wanted to make sure it was all good.
That's all good. But yeah, I suppose we introduced ourselves. We're kind of flown into the next
kind
of just
Yeah. Well, then I think the next thing we need to talk about is how we came to do the podcast and why we're doing the podcast. Well, we've talked a little bit about why, but I had just started at Snap Fitness, and my manager there came to me and he's like, we have this member who wants to do we have this member who wants to do some workshops. And I was like, ooh, I love workshops. This is exciting. And so he's like, do you want to go have a chat with her? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I love workshops. I always wanted to do them, and I have done them in the past, but it's when you're doing stuff alone, I don't like that.
Yeah.
So being able to have ideas to bounce off of. So I found you on the treadmill. And that's kind of how it started. It was that simple. It was like, okay, well, what are some of your ideas? What do you want to do? What are you thinking? What do you want? And you said,
well, send you like this massive long list with topics we could like, and how we could set
ideas.
Because obviously, like my initial idea was to keep it not separate, but definitely more. Obviously, nutrition is yours, and I'm going to shut up, and then like in the movement part, like actually like more the rehabby stuff. Body functionality more on my side. But yeah, I mean, the workshops then kind of, well, you kind of came back and went like, oh, how about instead of workshops, we'll just do a podcast.
It was the long pause in messaging after that. That's where I was like, oh, she's thinking. And you had said, let me get back to you.
Right,
let me get back to you on that. And I was thinking, this isn't going to happen. Like, because it's outside of our comfort zone. It's not something that, you've said that it's not something that you would normally do. And doing a workshop with, 5 to 10 people, that's already outside of our comfort zone. And, we're both intelligent. We both know what we're talking about, but to talk to people in large groups, it is a different setting. So, I believe we will still do workshops at some stage because I love the idea. But yeah, I was like, these ideas that you have are incredible and they need to be shared on a larger scale. So I threw out that idea. And then when you came back to me and you said, all right, yeah, let's do it, I was like, oh,
shit.
She actually said yes, which means then I have to get my butt in gear and be on top of it. So it's keeping me accountable, which I appreciate.
That's the beauty working with someone, not just being on your own, because it can get quite lonely. I reckon.
Definitely.
You're working for yourself, even if you're working in a gym environment or something, because you're always busy with your clients, and then if you're not busy, you've got other stuff to do. So at least that's my experience over the last few years. Like it can get quite lonely in this area. So
absolutely. And I feel like, even though as fitness professionals and nutrition professionals and professionals that we are, there's always noise around us. There's people around us, but at the end of the day, you go home and this is your business. Like, it's your job, and nobody's standing on top of you telling you
exactly
how to manage it and how to do it. And like, I wanted to put new content up on my socials, and I just sit there and I go, I don't even know where to start. Like, there's so much. I've got so much background with nutrition, health promotion, personal training, so many specialties that I do, and I just kind of get,
it's very hard to just keep a structured line and not go out on tangents all the time and make a 15-minute conversation or monologue into a 3-hour freaking
right. Yeah. And I don't want to be one of those content creators on socials where you're just like staring at the camera and talking to yourself. I want to make it interesting and things as well. So I was like, I don't know. And then
a conversation is much more engaging than a monologue.
Absolutely. It's like, then, you'll say something and I'll say something and we flow. And I think, when we first met, and we're really crunching it all out and nutting it all out, we got on pretty well. It was like, this is going to work. This is going to be amazing.
On the same page on a lot of things.
Yeah. So, and that wavelength.
Makes it easy.
Absolutely. And to find people who are on the same wavelength isn't something that always happens for me.
And I'm sure we'll find a few friction points as well, just to keep it interesting,
100%.
It's like, I don't agree with that.
That's the worst advice I'd ever heard. And that probably be you saying that to me. But no, so I know I'm really excited to move forward and see where this goes and what kind of interesting topics. What do we have in store? Like, what are we thinking?
I,
Do you have
to be
your
honest,
list
can't
still?
remember. once it's on paper, then it's out of there. It was a lot.
It was. I don't even remember because I was looking at the list and I was like,
I think there was
wow.
like stuff like overtraining, undertraining. So kind of really more in looking for results driven, and why we may not be reaching those results, and not necessarily through to interruption, but just because we're doing it wrong.
Yep.
Then I don't know what else was there.
I want to talk about fueling properly for different types of sport, different types of exercise, and just for everyday being alive. And the misinformation. I think my shirt, it says fueled by science. That's something that I love the research, and I don't necessarily like the fluffy fairy stuff that's on socials. There's a lot of misinformation that's out there.
There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of good information, but still not explained properly. I find like a lot of stuff you look at and they're doing it, but I know exactly people are going to take that into the gym, and I suppose that's where I come in with my bit, like going so much into the anatomy trains and functionality and stuff. It's like a slight, whether you work with a slight pelvis tuck or not can make a huge difference to the mechanic chains and how it all operates and how it works and how it responds. And, or even if your pelvis is twisted and you're not even aware of it, that can make a so having a trainer then there that might hopefully pick up on that kind of stuff, and let's be honest, most don't.
I'm probably guilty too, let's be honest. But yes.
I wasn't pointed towards
No, I know.
But I mean, you've done the training, let's be honest. I mean, a Cert 4 in personal training is
lacking, to say the least. Oh dear.
It's lacking heaps. And I mean, I get it, because most educations one undertakes, once you are qualified, this is when you start to really learn.
Yes.
Like you always start learning once you're actually out there doing it. So I get it. But when you're working with people, I would love to see a system where they have to do more work placement. And at least, I don't know, even if it's just a few months, but just get exposure to different bodies, different personalities. I mean, that's a whole different box again that would be opened up if we're starting to talk about mental stuff.
Yes, mental health, that's a big thing for me, is how training and nutrition impacts mental health. But also, like you're saying, with clients, everybody's body is different.
So different.
Like you can't just say, okay, we're coming into perimenopause, or we're coming into pregnancy demographics or elderly demographics, or yes, it's one demographic, but within that, each single person has different needs.
Absolutely.
And there's no way in 3 to 6 months you can actually learn all of that.
No.
And I feel when I was first really delving into being a PT, I was just kind of left to my own devices. And there wasn't some people have mentors, which is great. And I wish I would have had that opportunity, but it wasn't until much later, like years later, and I look back and I was like, my poor clients, when I first started, I had the enthusiasm, I had the excitement, I had knowledge, but I didn't have the skill that some of them would have needed to perform better, or to get the results a little bit better.
But there's no way after Cert 4 that you should be let out there and work with someone and get them comp ready for whatever sport they're choosing.
No.
Like there's no way you can work with athletes. But they're making it sound like that almost.
Yeah.
Like you finish your Cert, because your Cert 3, I believe, already includes like the general public and doing like group sessions like Les Mills and all that stuff. And that's where people get injured the most, is in those freaking group-led freaking massive sessions.
Well, if you're
lifting weights they're not supposed to. Or,
you're one person to a class of anywhere from
15 to 50.
Yeah,
depending on the gym.
I mean, I've had some classes that there's 2 people, and I was like, oh, great, this is okay, I can work with that. But on average, I was thrown into a boxing class. I had boxing experience, but people were their form and their technique from previous classes that they had done there are some people who are so set in their ways and they're like, no, I have done this for 10 years. I've done this for 20 years. I'm going to keep doing it this way. And you're like, yes, but you're going to hurt yourself. And then once we've hurt ourselves, then it's going to throw off everything that we do in the future. So, you know, I think as a trainer, it is now stepping back, looking, going, I was not equipped to not only take care of people, but then to run a business. Somebody decided that it was a good idea to give me a piece of paper that said I know stuff and give me the opportunity to run a business. I'm like, what? More on that later. 100%. But it's, and I think that the statistic is, you know, personal trainers who are qualified, I think only like 75% of them don't.
I think it's something like if within 2 years or even the first year, I can't remember, to be honest. I've seen the stats pop up multiple times. It's not a long time they give newly qualifieds before they fault and end up in a desk job somewhere or real estate.
Yes. and it's like we have this passion. We want to help people. We want to change things. Whatever our story is individually, whether we had this amazing experience with sport or exercise or healing or something like that, we all had a reason why we wanted to be a personal trainer or get into the
just health and
the health industry. But we get kind of bombarded with all of these expectations without the proper support. And kind of fall by the wayside.
And as a proper explanation, like there's just so much out there that's not necessarily wrong. I've just come across a new trend, again, like talking about big butts earlier, which is still so funny to me that people these days want a bigger butt. That was not a thing 20 years ago.
No. Oh, dear.
But yeah, so they've come up with all these new positional changes to engage the glutes more and make the glutes work harder. But all it is, because with positional change, you're putting it under a bigger stretch to start with, and therefore as you work it, it feels more, but it's not necessarily going to make it grow more.
What?
It'll probably actually give you a bit more functionality because you're putting it under a longer load.
Yep.
But yeah, like it's, as I said, that's not how they explain it out there for Instagram. It's all just, get your glute put on fire.
And it will be on fire, but the fire doesn't necessarily mean that it's growth. It doesn't necessarily mean it's increasing your strength. It's
you might just actually rip the bloody thing apart.
Great.
It's not ready to go into that length.
What could go wrong, right? Yeah, I feel that's 100%. You just sit there and you just go, this is sometimes quite painful. And I'm not going to ever sit in front of anybody and say I know everything.
Oh, hell no.
Because
we
do
don't.
not.
And to be honest, anyone who says that, and there's actually been research on this, that the ones that come across so cocky and they know it all and stuff, they actually often are less educated or have less understanding, because it's the ones that kind of sit back and go, I'm not sure about this, because they actually really think about stuff and they're really trying to figure it out. But unfortunately, science, as much as I like science as well, I often tend to end up working a lot more intuitively and based on not hearsay, but stories or what I've experienced, what other people experience, because in the end, science kind of always catches up.
Yeah.
Like it comes up with theories often and they're cool, but it just takes forever. And that's just how the system is set up, unfortunately.
Yep.
So I think, matching the bowls and putting them together is really where the sweet spot lies.
Absolutely. 100%. And I do, like, I agree, I like to geek out on the science and kind of know and see what the research is showing, because, you know, some of the things that we get told when they actually do the research study shows, hang on, that's not exactly what it is.
I think nutrition probably more so. Like I think nutrition research, you know, you can really go like taking AYZ is going to have an action on that. The amount that you need to actually have that reaction, like there's a lot more. Like I think it's easier where doing 12 reps of a certain movement has much different effect on different people.
Yes.
Where like, still with nutrition that can also be the case, but I think the percentage is less where you have those little outages.
Yes, and there will always be anomalies. There will 100% always be anomalies, but I think that's why you and I gelled so well, is we both do look at the research and look at the facts, but we also listen to internal, and we don't just BS and fluff things for the fun of it to get Instagram views.
We say quite honestly, I'm not sure about this, but
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I feel like that's one of the ways that we're going to
approach all this, really, to just have some conversations and see where we end up,
and bounce the ideas off of each other. And be like, hey, look, I found this information. Let's dive into this a little bit more, instead of be like, nope, this is 100% fact.
Yeah, no.
I saw this on TikTok. It has to be true.
Well, that's the thing. Even if you read it in a science book, doesn't mean it's. I mean,
I guess they get it wrong all the time, and I'm so well aware of that. It's like,
was it back in the 1950s? Doctors were promoting cigarettes.
Look, it's true. There are things that we are not always proud of.
But it's the process, as I said, because science is, you have a theory, but then it just takes forever to actually prove or disprove it, for that matter.
Yeah.
And we can't afford, I guess, to hang around and wait that long most of the time.
That's true.
Or we're not patient enough, maybe.
Definitely not. Definitely not patient enough.
No.
Yeah.
And in the end, you can only prove or disprove a theory by putting it into practice, I guess.
Yeah, and this is the thing, that the limitations of science and research is, one, you have to have the theory, two, you have to have the funding, and a lot of really good ideas don't have funding for whatever reason. There are those limitations, and there is plenty of research that has come out only to be disproven to be fake because somebody wanted to make money.
I was just about to say that, because your funding kind of determines often what the outcome is supposed to be of a study as well. So and there's all that too.
Sometimes people go to jail for fraud for their research, and then people have based a whole bunch of information off of a fraud. So being able to work through fact and crap and truth is sometimes exhausting, and I think that's where we
exhausting.
I think that's where we come in and we say, hey, this is fact, this is crap.
And also, if something just feels right to you, maybe that's fact for you then. Like, that's, the whole, like, people talking a lot about, oh, it's my truth and therefore it's reality, and there's something to that.
Yes.
So you can't just discredit all that either. I think. So
a
placebo effect is where it can be very powerful. So.
It can be. This something that I dive into quite regularly and quite often is, if it works, it works.
Exactly.
Like, I can't always explain. There may not be scientific backing for every last thing that I do, but it worked. So you're like,
Because how often have you had clients as well that you look at them, and like for me as well, I felt them under my hands, and with how they work out and the load they put on themselves, they should be injured or get injured, and it just never happens.
All the time.
And I'm kind of like, I'm almost like, damn it. Like, not that I wish anyone an injury, but I'm like, what the heck is going on here? How are you not feeling that you're tight, that you're stuck? Why is this not sore to you? Like, it just doesn't make much sense sometimes. So you have those people as well where it's, for them it works, even though with all the theory behind it, or knowing how the tissue feels and what the nutrition. Some people go to the gym every day and freaking go to McDonald's right after, and you're kind of like, how is this working?
Well, I managed to lose weight. I lost 20 kilos and I still had McDonald's multiple times a week. And all of my red flags were going off, and I was like, how am I losing weight? I'm losing weight. I don't know how it works, but it's working. So sure, we'll talk about that at another stage, but there really is. And I think, being able to weed out the fluff and get back to, okay, yes, it's backed by science, but it's not 100% like just science. I think that's one of the things that we agreed on, or we gelled on, and why we're
wouldn't you say as well, I suppose one point we want to bring across with this podcast in particular is to almost like tell not just women but people in general that it's okay to, you know, like if something doesn't quite work for you, like not to get like stressed out with all the stuff, because everything else is telling you like you should be in a deficit to lose weight. And for some people they are in a deficit, and for whatever reasons, whether there are hormonal underlying issues or even just, well, stress, mental load, which then turns into hormonal issues. So just by talking about all this and kind of bringing it out there that it is quite, that normal is so much.
Yes.
Like
it's not a cookie cutter boxed thing.
Not,
It is
like you might have 99% of people that stuff works for, but there's 1%, and considering how many people there are on this planet, even that 1% can be a hell of a lot of people that are out there and just does not fit into anything, and they are the ones I think we're trying to maybe get into the boat and go, it's cool, and you're still, you know, some will find it somehow and somewhere. And
absolutely. I think that's a really good point, is you and I are just two normal people. And I think all the time, I'm like, my life is not extraordinary. And I think this is what stopped me from doing vlogging or doing podcasts. Like,
who am I to put my opinion out there?
Who's actually going to listen to me? Like, who am I? I'm really just your normal average female living a life. But then I was like, well, if that's me, there's other people out there who feel the same. And you know, I'm never going to sit here and be
proven.
and that's what I mean, is like, hang on, there are more of us, so we do need to talk about this. We do need to, you know, make people feel comfortable and accept the reality for what it is. We're not all going to be Instagram models with a big booty and a tiny waist. It's just, that's never been my reality, and that never will be my reality. And it took me ages to accept that. And like, I didn't want to be a personal trainer because I wasn't the ideal physique. But for me, that makes me more relatable. And so it took me a long time to go, hang on, no, what I have to say is valid. What I have in my experience is relatable, and let's link arms and make something of this.
Absolutely. So give these people a voice as well. Well, not just give them a voice, but just have them listen to someone and maybe not feel quite as lonely and left behind. Or left out.
Absolutely. So I think that's probably where we'll wrap up for today.
I think so.
That's a good tie-in, or a good conclusion. I feel very excited to do this. So stay tuned, because who knows what's going to come out in the future. But yes, thank you so much.
Diving down some rabbit holes, we'll see.
Yes. At least we're like, we'll just get the flashlight. We'll be right. High five.
Awesome.
This is awesome.
Cool.
See you next time.
See you then.
I do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
not a good idea, Sansa.
Oh, but she's so excited.
Yeah, that's a humping toy.
Oh. And that's on camera.
You can cut that out.
Or keep it in. I don't know.
That's why she's probably gonna,
Perfect. So far, we're okay. All right.
Awesome.
So, my name's Christen.
My name is Martina.
And we decided to do...
Told you.